guys, this is the VF-0 from Arcadia, and chances are if you're on the Macross World forums and you have been reading up on it, every now and then your leg is going to pop off due to the ball socket in there, and this isn't happening to everybody, but it's happening to enough people, including me, whereas I decided to come up with a little replacement piece on the inside there. My right leg is the one that came off. The left one is the stock one, and that one has not come off yet. And holds pretty well. Oh, they're both kind of wobble. And basically it's a metal ball with a plastic half on the inside, and it's got a metal socket that clamps around that. The stock cap is slightly too large, so those two pieces on the metal socket don't close all the way, which gives it just enough room so that if you're turning the leg, it can pop out, which is not cool. Someone had asked if I would put this up on Shapeways, and I've actually never ordered anything from Shapeways before. I've never had to because I have my own 3D printer, and I went ahead and did that. Recently got them. It's just this tiny little plastic cap. And that's going to be the one half of the ball joint there in the hip. So I'm going to go ahead and take the leg off. And try to do this on camera. I'm going to partially untransform him just so you have access to the swing bar. Two screws on the right leg. One's got a cover on it. Pop it off. I've done this a couple times on mine already, so it comes off fairly easily. You can kind of get it to this point where you have a tiny gap and try to get the whole forward leg to come out. Helps if you don't have the fastback on. Just wedge it enough so you can pull that out. You can also separate these two now. And there's a metal pin in between here, and I've done this before, so it's a little bit easier. You just kind of separate it like this. Back and forth until it pops off. And then you can see the metal pin right there. Move the other side. And again, you don't need your intake covers in. They'll probably fall off anyways. Take that out. Now, if you have not done this yet, you're going to have two glued pins right here and right here that you're going to have to break. When mine's together, I don't really get a gap from it, but just be mindful. This is going to come off easy for me. It'll be a little bit more difficult for you, and you can kind of see where those pins were. Here's the Gerwach joint, and then push this intake assembly in and off the socket. And there's one more screw. And there's your socket. Now, one of the issues with this aside from the plastic piece being too big, is on mine, and it sounded like a couple other people's. That plastic piece ended up being glued to the inside of the socket, so you weren't able to rotate the leg on that joint anyways, and that's probably due to them gluing that socket. Let's see where that went. Glue from the ball, so they'd glue this ball piece on top of that metal piece, and they must have used too much. It would seep out into the socket and then glue it in place when it was in packaging. Here's my printed cap. It's this tiny little piece. Now mine looks a little bit like it might have glue or something on it, but that's actually just future polish I use to give some more friction there in the joint. So now let's test out the Shapeways piece. Let's see how it fits. There is a square peg section on the swing bar, and there's a square peg on the inside of the Shapeways piece, or square peg hole. And it fits on there just fine. But the true test is if the socket still fits on over it. So we'll try that. Now I just put that on there without having this intake piece first. So you would have this on there first and have it sitting all the way on the swing bar, attach that, and then slide this back over. But I wanted to, ooh. Okay. So that's on there really nice, and there is a little bit of a gap there between these two pieces, but it is not as bad as the stock one. And as you see as I'm turning this, it's not popping off the ball there. I mean, you can see how much force I'm putting on that. It's not popping off. Again, I've never used Shapeways before, so your mileage may vary. I'll put a link for this nub. I know that for international shipping, it might be easier for people to be ordering from Shapeways versus from me, depending on how much they charge for international shipping. But it looks like it works, guys. Yeah. And here he is all put back together. I am very happy with the fit of that ball half, and you can see it's holding its position better than the stock one. If I go like that, you can see the stock one's moving, whereas this one is really solid. I am very happy with how well that actually worked out. Again, I've never ordered anything from Shapeways before. I would just 3D print my own stuff, and it looks like the surface of this is slightly gritty. There's different forms of 3D printing, and this one is, it seems like they're using the powder with resin curing. And I think what's happening is, since I already had the future in the socket, that extra bit of surface friction is assisting that joint and just holding like a champ. And that is perfect. Posing this guy, yeah, that's exciting. So it's better than stock now. I would not recommend getting this and opening up your leg as a preventative measure, but definitely don't worry if your leg does end up popping off and you want a way to fix it, because even with the hips extended, which I know a lot of people won't even do, it's still holding. So there it is, guys. Your Arcadia VF-0s will be fine. Don't fret the leg issue.